Everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do World's Finest Comics starring Superman and Batman, issue number 293 from DC Comics. Yeah, I remember this well back in the day when we have a lot of translated Superman Batman comics. It's very limited, and in the 90s then we have access to American comics, right? So I've read all of the issues when I was very young, and I enjoyed this very much. And although I barely remember the story, and now that I've read it again, and I said, oh man, this brings me back. It's just good. Anyway, so let's dive in. We're getting introduced to new villains called Null and Void. And we're going to take a look at this. So before we can do that, so this is a book from 1983. Oh my God, I was 12 years old or something at that time. Jesus. So we start here with a guy called Solomon, and he needs to pay taxes, but he is in a debt, and he's been called out 3 times. And if he's not going to pay up the taxes, he's going to jail. So, right, so he's a little bit panicking. So he calls an associate called Peter, and he says, I know I was the one who swore never again. Yes, I know you have been wanting. Can we just settle for something simple this time? Don't do this to me, Peter, please. Not at my age. So, and then he looks at some kind of a tattoo at his hand. And he says, I'm middle-aged, successful. I put a lot of long years, some taking some terrible risk to get where I am. At this stage of my life, I shouldn't have to do this anymore. The terrible risk should be behind me now. But he has no choice. So, and then we're going to, I don't know, the Daily Planet, because there is, I don't know, the Daily Planet is being hosted by this woman called the Expropriator. I don't know what that is, the Expropriator. I need to look up that word. And the woman says that this that this newspaper is trash, right? It's all gossip and BS. And she says, now get on the phone to your corporate masters at Galaxy Communications and give orders for a change. I want $100,000 delivered to me now, right? And she says, obey me, or I use my superpowers to destroy this entire building. And Perry thinks, oh no, where is Superman? Well, Superman is way too busy saving the planet and saving lives, because it seems that 2 planes are colliding, and Superman does what Superman does best, saving people. Superman is in my opinion, the best superhero. He's the ultimate Superman. He's the ultimate superhero. His costume is perfect. His morals is perfect. Unless modern writers touch him, and then it's going to be shit. But other than that, before modern comics, Superman is fantastic. Superhero. It's been written, this comic, David Anthony Kraft is the writer, Adrian Gonzales is the penciler, and Tony DeZuniga is the inker. He's an old school inker. Tony DeZuniga is pretty cool. So he uses his super speed to dismantle the other plane, saves these people from the debris that are falling, and basically saving the day, right? Because that is what Superman does. Like I said, he's the ultimate hero. In my humble opinion, of course. I like Spider-Man too, but Superman is just, I don't know, it's just one step above everyone else. So this woman, says, okay, she's getting the money, and she's gonna give every employer $500 paper bills, and everybody's saying, yay! And she says, come and get it, or else. And Perry says, what the? She's turning on my own employees against me? But why? So Superman comes in, right? And he says, Superman, you gotta let her go. Don't try to stop her. Well, she destroyed this building and everyone in it. But Superman doesn't care, and he says, well, it's only aluminium foil costume with cardboard, so it's not real. And the woman says, you called my bluff. I'm a secretary here, a working mother who just couldn't make ends meet. When I didn't get a bonus this year, I had to do something, but my weapon wasn't dangerous. I didn't really do anything wrong or hurt anyone. Except yourself, says Superman. So this is one of the best parts of this comic. So he says, you can be sure you lost your job and you're going to jail. The weapon may not have been real this time, but what about next time? What about your children? Take a look outside. You could have been killed, and other innocent people could have been hurt, all because of what you did. Stealing is not the solution. When times are hard, it's more important than ever to take a responsibility for your actions rather than taking the easy way out. So yeah, that has a lot of impact for me, when I was a boy, because in these timelines, there was a lot of comics that have these kind of messages, right? So doing the right thing and don't steal, right? Don't do drugs, don't drink and all that stuff. And, I didn't do it, not because of the comics, but, well, maybe part of it. I really don't know. Maybe they had some kind of an influence on me. But I always think these messages were pretty cool for younger readers, right? Because it sends a positive message. So Batman in his classic costume standing there. So Superman comes in and he says, hey, old buddy, why don't we go, I don't know, do, what's it called? On going on patrol, right? And having a chat, which is all right. So we go back to Solomon, and there's a small figure, climbing alongst the building, and then it enters the home of Solomon, and he says, "It's you." So this is this Peter guy. He said, I should have known. You haven't changed at all these years. I've known you, Peter. You haven't grown any older or wiser. Isn't that any way to greet a dear old associate and partner in crime, Solomon? Why, you must take such chances. If you don't even have superpowers, you could have been killed, he says. That's the difference between us, and why we made such a perfect pair. You hate taking risk, and I thrive on being alive. Now enough of this. So they shake hands, but Solomon doesn't want to do it. But they're changing into Null and Void, because I swore to do this never again. I swore to never again become the being called Null. I knew this day would become again old sport. I lived and dreamed of nothing else but being void. So just like Superman and Batman, they are being the exact opposite. Well, that's not entirely true. But Superman and Batman are both superheroes, but Superman being a creature of the night and instilling fear in criminals, and Superman is a creature of hope and he's the ultimate hero, right? Well, these two are, he doesn't want it to do it, and he says, I'm a thrill seeker, which is pretty cool. So they're arguing here, and so it's just this Peter guy says, hey, this is thrilling, let's do it. And so they're making a plan how to go forward. And then we see Batman and Superman having a chat, and Superman is feeling sad. And the reason for that is that sometimes there's more to it than that. My feelings aren't super. I had to turn a woman over to the police today, knowing we'll deprive her children of their only parent. From what you have said on the way here, it doesn't sound like she would prove much guidance. But you have to do what's right, even when it means a misguided a mother would pay the price for a mistake. So Batman gave him basically the pep talk, right? And he says, my real mother died. Laura died in the destruction of my home planet Krypton when I was a baby. And I miss my Ma Kent, my adoptive mother here on Earth. Maybe that's why what happened today with that young mother made me feel so sad. Especially now, with Mother's Day so near. I may mean not much, but believe me, I know what you're feeling. It means a lot. That's why our friendship is so special to me. I like that. We see more human sides of Superman, and there's a lot of human side of Superman, but not when it comes that he's feeling bad, putting a mother to jail, right? Those stories are, we don't see that much in superhero stories, and that actually the heroes themselves feel, conflicted about it. And that makes these Superman, for me, like I said, the ultimate Superman, because he represents all of us, in my opinion. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but that's how I really feel. And especially when the older comics, when all these things are coming out. And same with Batman. Batman is not the hard-ass MFer that we see now, or later comics. We see also here a more softer side of Batman, which is a nice change, because he opens up to his friends, And that's what I like, instead of being, I'm a silent Avenger. No, he actually appreciates the friendship that he has with Kal-El. Yeah, pretty cool. So moving on. So Null and Void are changing back because it is a limited time until they touch hands again. And as one friend to another, we've been the most successful criminal team of the last 20 years. They say there is no such thing as the perfect crime, but we've proven them wrong. In all of those years, we've never been caught. No one even knows we exist. We're the best at what we do, bar none. With that attitude, you end up in the slammer someday, Peter. That's what scares me. I don't want any trouble. I'm too old for the trouble. I just want one last secure score to assure my security once and for all. Something safe and simple, not stupid. So they are, here at this restaurant, and they are talking about, stuff. And so they're ordering some food, and he's stealing the tips of this waiter. And Solomon is not happy. He says, "Are you crazy? That's pocket change to you. Do you want to get caught? Why do you just take these crazy risks?" Joie de vivre, my friend. The joy of living. What is life without challenge? Come on, old friend. It is you who need the money, not I. Committing perfect crimes is boring if there is no challenge. So, yeah. I like that. Meanwhile, Superman, and Batman are still talking, and they, they have an idea, because there's a lot of lonely orphans out there, lonely, children, and with no mothers at all. So Batman is say, hey, why don't we do a sponsored event by Wayne Foundation, and so the orphans can raise money for themselves. It could give them experience, the means to earn their own way, build their own future, and I think I know we can help them do that, Batman, by loaning them some items from my Fortress of Solitude to put on display. So yeah, so that's like I said, that's cool. So they are having some charity organization or something like that, right? And so we see then Peter and Solomon, and then Peter says, "Hey, here's your tips." I believe you lost this, and Clark says, "Hey, that's what we could use more of, Bruce. Honest citizens like those ones." So yeah. Anyway, so they are doing this exhibit thing, right? And before they open up, and Batman is, is in awe and wonder of what Superman has done and accomplished through, all the years and all these memorabilia, right? He says, "I hope you pick and choose among these wonders the best I can, Superman. But I hope you have super patience. I could look at this stuff for hours myself." So yeah, like I said, we've seen a different side of Batman, right? And so yeah, the exhibit is going on, and Superman and Batman are explaining all these things to all these kids and mothers and parents and all. And then Peter and Solomon is here for robbing and this exhibition. So yeah, but Peter says, "Hey, everything on the exhibit is such imposing stature, except this. This must be some of significance that something so small merits display. Only one way to find out." So he asks Batman, say, "Hey, what is that thing?" Superman hasn't said it, but it must be important, right? So they touch each other, and they are going immediately back to work. So, but there is alarm systems in place. So one is some kind of a electric eye, and then Null is walking in front of it, and it's two parts of the alarm system, right? Null actually emits some kind of a field that everything looks normal, while Peter, who can, also known as Void, can teleport objects away. So he touches it, and it flips into his other hand. And then Batman realizes that something is wrong, and because one of the children says, "Hey, Batman, look, the exhibit, it's gone. But where and how? No alarm sounded," right? So Superman uses his X-ray vision to search it, but he cannot find it anywhere. Nothing seems out of place. But then he's using his super hearing, and he finds some kind of a dead zone in a corner where there shouldn't be anything. So they're being flushed out, but Null uses his powers to how do you say, not nullify Superman powers, but he can, what's the word I'm looking for? Override the senses. So basically, he doesn't see anymore. Well, Void is battling Batman. He says, "I'm more faster and agile than you, Batman." And he jumps over him. So he says, I know that I know your fighting style. You won't get another chance to leap out of the way before I land a solid punch." "You're right, Batman. When it comes to speed and skill, not even I could move that fast. But I don't have to. Just touch this shield with one hand and teleport it instantly to another. Since you didn't have time to pull your punch, your right hand should be useless for a while." He says, "Ouch!" He's right. "I put all my weight behind it, punched solid steel as hard as I could, paralyzed with pain, right on with our aches from knuckles to shoulder." "I don't believe it," says Void. Batman actually trying to get up and come after him again, even though he's in blinding pain. So Superman is his senses are being nullified, right? So he cannot hear, he cannot see, and he just, even gravity is now against him because he cannot fly safely, right? And and Void just smashing through the building, and then Void here, Null and Void. Void, yeah, grabs his hand and he says, "Hey, I'm grabbing your sore wrist. And so you can't do anything because you are in too much pain." And then he teleports from one place to another while, Batman is punching solid air. And hard to concentrate, isn't it? When you got pain on your mind and you can be sure or where you stand from one moment to the next. "No hard feelings, Batman. Actually, I admired you for years and I'm privileged to..." "What? That stone pillar toppling towards those kids." So he hurries along, and then he teleports a pillar onto the next one, saving those kids, right? And he says, "I got to use my power to block one stone column with another. Keep it from crushing those kids. Even if it means the roof comes crashing down around my ears. They're safe, heading for the axis." But then Batman is also in danger too. And he says he's going to be killed, and it's all my fault. "I can't let that happen." And he teleports Batman out of harm's way, saving Batman. "Thought I pushed my luck too far that time, but I'm alive. Best not waste any time. There's not much left. It was a bit more than I bargained for. Best to get out of here. Well, the getting is good." Well, the getting is good. Okay. So Batman stands up and he says, Hey, Superman, how you doing?" And so it seems that the other ones escape, but Batman thinks that he still can find them. So Superman using his super hearing again, and he doesn't hear any dead pockets, so that means they got away, right? Well, not entirely. So Solomon uses basically his power, not doing the same mistake again, and he's using the power to, instead of having a dead pocket, he's going to fill that pocket so it feels more natural, so that everything is in place. And just in time, because the powers are waning, so they are, themselves again, just in time. And, "Well, we got away," says Peter. "I know we could do it. So now to hug the gem, give the money to Sol, and relax until next year when Sol's annual tax troubles get him over." So he's just waiting before he gets another tax problem. And then they are going to do this again, which is funny. So he says, "Hey, let's get going because I want to go to my friend." And then Peter thinks, "Well, all is well, all well that ends well," I always say. "And at least we got the goods, even if it's safer. Even if this caper wasn't exactly a perfect crime. I still sour our victory over Superman and Batman all of the rest of my days. Driver, stop revving, get to the engine and get a move on, will you please?" But then, I don't know, Superman is just standing in front of the car, so he cannot move. And so Peter says, "How did you find me?" So it seems that, I didn't know that, Batman has an eidetic memory. So he is recalling all of the people that he spoke to in the exhibit and, talking about the artifacts. And, well, Superman uses then his supervision to scan the area and find him with super speed. Incredible. You two work even together even better than my partner and I. Until now, I thought we were the best. Where is your partner? But Peter says, if you haven't found him, I won't betray my friend. I owe him that much. It was I who pushed him into this. It is I who take the rap. You may know exactly what he looks like, but you can't possibly search the city person by person. And he was no criminal, and he has no criminal record. So he's safe, even if I'm not. Right? So, and then the driver says, hey, Superman, Batman, I didn't even know that he was a criminal. You have to believe me. So Peter says, well, I can use this money where I'm going. So here, take a day off. And he says, well, I'm going to take a year off with this kind of money. Right? So then Peter says, hey, at least give me this. What was it? What was it so valuable about this thing that I stole? So he said, is it valuable? It's the most valuable piece I put on display. To me, it's a locket with a picture of Laura. She was my mother. And then, oh no, Solomon gets a visit from the taxpayers. So that ends as well. So all well ends well. And I think this is a fun comic, right? So I like this world's finest comic in this era from the 80s till, I don't know how long it goes on, but I had a couple of them and I really enjoyed them. So we see basically more, let's say, throwaway villains, but there's also fun villains, but DC didn't do anything with them anymore later on. So but I like to introduce them to you because there was a lot of fun stuff back in the day. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but now you do. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel, all the jazz, and see you next time. Bye bye.